Merry meet everyone! Today we are doing a simple winter tree, Christmas tree, Yule tree, however you want to call it. And I'm going to be doing the fairy lights, but I'm going to be doing it with these fairy lights. And it takes, is that AA? Three AA batteries. So I want to put a little iridescence on this. I tested it out on a piece of paper towel, and the green that we're using is going to be more in the blue, like the darker side. It's also going to be an alcohol ink, so you're going to be able to see through it, but it looks really good with the iridescence on it. So I tested it out on a piece of paper towel. I have to find where I got this iridescence. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I do know Let's Resin has an interference line, and I think they do have a green one in there, so I will definitely link that one below, but I don't think I'll be able to link the one that I'm using. It'll be pretty much the same thing. And then we are using the lime green, which does not look lime green whatsoever. In fact, it looks more like the grass green, and the grass green would probably be more like lime green. But anyways, so this is a little bit more on the blue side. So this is going to be a little bit darker than the light up trinket box that I did before. But I want to add a little iridescence to it so it still looks pretty even when the light's not on. And there's a lot of like little markings for like texture, I guess you can say, to give it more of that tree-like look. And I kind of want that to pop a little bit better. Now to get the powder in here is going to be a little challenging because of the way it is. So I am going to do my absolute best to make sure I get in every little nook and cranny. I am just going to dump a bunch of this in here too, because that might be a little easier than just dabbing and going. And then we're going to mix up some deep pour resin. Oh, sorry. So I am going to be trying to be as gentle as possible, but still get it in every little groove. This brush is actually fairly soft, which makes it easier to be a little rougher with it. Maybe pouring it in there wasn't such a good idea. Alright. You do not want this stuff to sit in any of the nooks and crannies, so definitely knock as much of this out as possible. And I am just gonna dab it right off the table and put it in. Kind of use the light to see where you've missed, because you can see the reflection of it with the light. Not too well in the camera, but you can see it a little bit. You can see it a lot more, so I can just go where I need to. Make sure you get every spot. Alright, so that interference green is in there, and I'm going to smack out any extra. It's like I said, you do not want any sitting. You are going to get some funky designs that you are not going to like, especially for the tree. I mean, other things might look really cool, but not for this. And that is looking pretty good. I'm going to clean up my mess. I'm going to mix some resin, and then we will be back. Actually, I want to put the fairy lights in first because I want them to make sure they are exactly where I need them to be. So let me unwind this. Make sure you unwind this in the right direction. Now these fairy lights, I'm pretty sure, are 4 feet in length. 3 or 4 feet, and that was the shortest one I could find. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to wrap this lightly around the finger because I wanted to get down in the bottom, and then I want to kind of get it to look fuller as we go up the tree to try and keep those fairy lights as close to the edge as possible. Of course, I've got 4 feet to work with, so I gotta make sure this is tight enough. These fairy lights are made of wire, and you can manipulate these for the most part fairly well. So these fairy lights are giving me a hard time. So essentially I want to make it look like the tree is strung with the lights but from the inside, so they are not going to go absolutely anywhere. It's looking good so far. Let's see if I can get the rest of this to go in there. Take this brush, put it down in there. Be careful with your molds. Make sure you're not going to scratch it. You definitely want to make sure those are far enough in so you can get them nice and kind of like evenly done. Oh God, is that lint again? What the heck is up with this lint? Now these fairy lights are very much spaced out on the wire, which I'm not too keen with. So if you want to know exactly how this is going to look, don't be afraid to put some batteries in and turn them on. Use too much of my fingers. I don't want to take the mica powder off, but I do want to get it in there enough to tuck them underneath some of these tree pieces. Right, where's my silicone brush? Probably going to go over this really quick with the brush to make sure I get all that powder back where it belongs. This is being a pain in the butt. Now that we got those in, I'm going to get my gloves back on and we are going to mix some resin. I'll do that off camera and then I will come back when I'm ready to put the pigment in and try not to touch too much of this, which means I should probably put this in my tray before it becomes an issue. Alright, so we got the resin mixed up. I used my deep pour resin like I usually do from Texpert, 2-to-1 ratio. I did a total of 6 ounces. I don't know how much this tree is going to take, so we will see. Let's do about 5 drops of this at a time. I may need to add a little of the green in because this might be too blue. Well, that is a very interesting green. Might add a little bit more of my lime green in. I mean my grass green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a nice color. Let's see. I want it a little darker. So let's add 5 more of the lime green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is looking like a nice pine tree green. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, so we did 10 drops of the lime green and 5 drops of the grass green to kind of knock out some of that blue that's in there. And I am going to put this aside. I do want to grab some batteries and make sure this is going to actually look okay before I pour the resin in, but I'm going to put this over here for now. Pause the video and get some batteries. Alright, so I got some batteries. Let's... Oh, I got stuff all over this. Put them in. Ooh, just be careful. and turn them on. Where's the switch? There it is. Oh wow, okay. So I don't know if you can tell from the video, but again, not too many actual fairy lights, but that looks pretty good, I think. So let's put this back where it belonged, and let's pour that resin in, and hopefully these cure without sticking out. Again, I'm going to pour this from up high, slow. I am going to speed up the video, but you do want to aim for the deepest spot and just slowly come up. And I'm hoping those fairy lights don't trap any bubbles. There's a lot of bubbles in here. Okay, I think that's good. And there's going to be a lot of bubbles to remove. I'm probably going to have to babysit this for a little while because you can just see them come right up. And it looks like there might still be some in the trees. Oh, no, stay. So this was supposed to be a nice easy one. This is already coming up to be quite difficult because of these fairy lights just aren't behaving the way I like them. Right, I'm gonna make a mess. I'm gonna take these batteries out. I'm gonna let this, set this over on my level table and just let it finish curing, and set this and fix these lights so they actually stay underneath. Because I know once I move this, it's gonna pop right back out again. So I am just gonna do that. I'm sorry if it's gonna be off camera, but they're just being too much of a pain and it's gonna drive me nuts. I do want to get rid of those bubbles because they're just coming up. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this for the next few hours to make sure I pop any residual bubbles that are still trapped in here. And I'll be back to demold this. This is going to be, it's supposed to be how simple this one was. Just powder, stick the lights in, fill it, and then, you know, let it cure and demold. But it looks like these fairy lights are going to be a pain. So I will see you when this is done curing. Alright, we are back, and this is not completely 100% cure. It's still very bendy, and okay, I didn't leave a mark. And you can leave a mark. I did pull the wire up because I was hoping to clean this a little bit while it's still soft, and I might still be able to, but I don't want to use anything sharp because I don't accidentally want to cut the wire. And then I did spill a bunch of this all over the place while I was trying to fight that fairy light to get where I needed it to be and stay. So we do have some cleaning to do, which this is coming off fairly easily because I did not wait for this to completely 100% cure. And when it comes to cleaning resin, especially when it comes to the deep pour resin, you don't want it to completely cure. You want it to still be somewhat soft, but this is cured enough to take it out of the mold and see what it looks like. And again, this is the first time I've tried this, especially with the fairy lights. I don't do too many projects putting fairy lights in the mold, so I'm happy this came out fairly flat. Only one piece right here kind of poked up a little bit, and then of course the wire. Did my best to try to get this flush, but I literally had to rest this on the edge, like with the wire sticking up. It looked weird. I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't. Just to keep the lights underneath the resin so they weren't poking up too much. So we're gonna demold this, and I'm hoping this looks fantastic and there's no air bubbles, because I am gonna be so upset putting all this work and effort into this poor little tree and it winds up looking like a hot mess. I don't mind a little mess. Like I said, we're going to clean that up as the best we can. Alright, I'll do that afterwards. Let's see if I can get this out. And I want to be careful because, like I said, this isn't completely 100% cured and I don't want to break any of the tree branches. And if I'm off the camera, I am so sorry. I'll try and do this a little bit. at a time and try to see if we can get this to come out. Birth to a tree over here. That is looking great. And a couple of air pockets in the tip, but not bad at all. This actually came out pretty stinking nice. I mean, where I was messing around with the fairy lights, took off some of the interference mica, but it kind of gave it a really cool ombre effect. So it looks like it gets lighter on the top and darker on the bottom. And it without the lights on, this looks really pretty. Let's put the batteries back in. Of course, be careful. Like I said, I spilt that resin everywhere, and this resin is not going to come off the plastic as easily as it does the silicone. So if you have a way to put this in like a silicone sleeve to keep it safe, I would highly recommend that. You don't want to accidentally seal it shut. Of course, I think I even got resin on the stupid batteries. Hopefully that doesn't affect them. We'll find out. Right here now on camera. Now I got these fairy lights on Amazon, and I do believe they come with a timer. What's that say? It does say timer, and it says on and off. So I think this stays on for a little bit, and then, not like a little bit, but, oh, interesting. Not exactly how I was hoping. Like, I wish the lights were a little closer together, but that actually looks pretty cool. Oh, it looks even better on camera. Like, there's some spots where I wouldn't mind a little more light. And there's some spots that got a lot of the fairy lights. But this was such a pain to put in. I didn't care at the time. But yeah, that looks actually pretty darn cool. My only issue would be those pesky bubbles that, again, I didn't want to mess around with it too much because it was being such a pain. But I tried my best to kind of squeeze each of the, I mean, I didn't do all of them clearly because I missed that one and that one and that one. Hey, I almost was about to completely throw this sucker out. So I'm glad I didn't, because this looks super festive. And it's not decorated like a Christmas tree, so if you don't celebrate Christmas or Yule, this would be really nice for just a winter piece to just kind of be a little festive for the winter season. I'm debating on whether to do a white one with maybe blue iridescence, but so comment below, let me know what you think. Of course, like the video, subscribe, that helps a lot. You can also support me by going to my Etsy shop and buying any of the things that you see me doing on my Etsy shop. I am doing my very best to put them out ahead of the videos, so you can get them pretty much before you see them on the video, but I'm doing my best. So definitely check out my Etsy shop. That is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Blessed be. Bye.